We'll call this meeting to order. We'll have Director Laura lead us in prayer.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for this organization that helps the community and the people of San Angelo. Help us all be good stewards of the things that we've been given authority over. Help us help each other and just do a good job at loving each other in this community. Amen.
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 Okay. We'll now open it up to public comment. Issues or items that are not on the agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, begin by stating their name, and limit remarks to less than 3 minutes. Board members may request that a discussed item be placed on a future agenda. The board takes public comment on all regular agenda items during the discussion of those items. It's 8:32. We'll open it for public comment.
Morning, Board. Nora Navarez, Economic Development Assistant. So I just wanted to let you know that the business plan competition is still underway. The first deadline to meet and to enter into the competition is August 2nd, so we're not far from it. Just to give you an update, we have received 5 entries, but we know that on the 2nd, they'll start rolling in. So that's what we anticipated last year, so we did really good. Just want to also take the opportunity to thank AEC Small Business Development Center. They've been working at it as well, marketing the competition, and we look forward for this year's competition as it progresses. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nora. Appreciate all the work you're doing and SBDC is doing as well. Any other public comment? No? Seeing none, we'll close it. It's 8:33. Moving on to the consent agenda. 4A, consider approving the June 23, 2021 minutes, and B, consider approving the necessary corporation disbursements.
Move for approval of consent items A and B.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Okay. First by Director Dendel, second by Director Barrio. Any comments, discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay. Motion carries. Okay. Moving on to the regular agenda. Section A, consider approving an administrative services agreement by and between the City of San Angelo Development Corporation and the City of San Angelo for the provision of staff services and authorizing the board president or their designee to negotiate and execute all related documents. Presentation by Guy Andrews, Director of Economic Development.
Good morning. Guy Andrews, Director of Economic Development. As you'll recall, this item was tabled at our last meeting pending further documentation and discussion. We've had extensive discussions. You've been provided additional information in regard to this. We are in agreement with the amount of $722,000 for the upcoming year, and the staff recommends that you approve this item. Be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I have none.
Okay. Board? No. I just had a kind of point of clarification, I guess, just since I missed the last meeting, so don't want to beat a dead horse. But when I reviewed, and I'm looking at the fee schedule comparison of the 3 pages, looking at it, seems like the majority of the increase was due to finance and accounting. Seemed to be the 3/4 of the increase. Could we just get a little bit of insight on that?
I believe that was due to addition of staff and additional task on that, and there is documentation in your packet that shows that. But
okay, and I would expect that's attributed to the increase of projects. We were
partially, yes.
Yes.
So we had increase in projects and increase in staff to administer those services.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion, questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay. Let me, so before we'll take the motions, then we'll open it up for public comment as well. It is 8:36. Seeing none, we'll close it for public comment at 8:36.
My motion to approve stands.
Motion first by Director Barrio, and second by Director Freeze. Okay, any other discussion by the board? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to 5B, consider approving the June 2021 financial statements. I understand Tina's not here. She's under the weather. We hope she feels better. And presentation by Ryan.
Good morning, Coastal Development Corporation Board. My name is Ryan Gaddy. I'm the Assistant Director of Finance, and I'll be sharing with you the financial results through the June 30 period. And this will be the third quarter update, so we have one quarter left. And if you have your statements, you'll see that on the first page of the executive summary for the Economic Development Fund, there's currently about $5.3 million of available unassigned fund balance. And for the ballot side, there's about $2.5 million, which generally is, supports water sources and such. If you look at the sales tax analysis, you see that for the month of June, the sales tax came in really strong. I think some of that can probably be attributed to the rodeo, but I think also a large part of that is due to the recovery in our sales tax. The previous month was at 22.77%, and the month of June was at 26.57. So our sales tax is coming back to where the levels that we had hoped it would. And the July results were in at 14.89%. So are there any questions on those items? If you look at the balance sheet for economic development, you'll notice that currently we have about $6 million in cash and money market accounts. That's the liquid funds that we maintain to support the projects that are outstanding. On the longer term investments, we have about $5.5 million, and we're looking to, based on the level of spending that we have on our current projects, we're looking to extend and begin investing some of that $6 million so that we yield a slightly higher return. You know, we're really challenged with our interest rates right now, so anything we can do, we'll try to maximize the amount of interest income that we're able to yield. If you look at the fund equity side of the economic development balance sheet, you'll see that the $6.3 million, which is committed to current projects, and then we have the $1.7 million that's restricted primarily for assets, the industrial park, and then the unassigned balance, like I mentioned earlier, is the $5.3 million. Are there any questions on the balance sheet?
I just have a quick question.
Okay.
On that 5.5 million, you said it's in longer-term investments. What are those investments in general?
Most of the investments that on the longer-term side are agency funds. They're callable agency funds.
Okay.
And they're currently yielding between 0.3 and 0.5%. So they're not at the levels we had before, but with the restrictions that we have in terms of how we can invest, that's pretty healthy.
Mm-hmm. And what's that term? On
The term that is allowed under the investment policy is 2 years.
Okay.
For the complete portfolio. So some of those may extend beyond that, but most of them, because the money market, of course, being liquid, and the $5 million there, I think the current WAM is at about a year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if we look at the operating statement, the revenue and expenditure report for the economic development, you'll see on the revenue side that the sales tax is performing well. As you can see, it's on a year-to-date basis, 87%, And, you know, this is 75% through the year, so the revenues are doing well. On the operating expenditures, we're at 41%, but a large part of that is the fact that we haven't, until this administrative services agreement, the amounts associated with that, the 680, I better put my readers on. Yeah, the 661, there has not been any payments made. So on the project side, the largest expenditures to date have been associated with the industrial park. So you can see at the bottom, on a year-to-date basis, we have about 1.8 million committed to spend. So that represents about 19%. So, you know, the pace of spending on the projects is pretty slow, but, you know, that's to be expected given the projects. So are there any questions on the operating statement? Okay, and then the next page is just a summary of the projects since the inception. If you look at the balance sheet for the ballot side, it's pretty straightforward. There's about $3.5 million available in cash, and it's all liquid at the present time. We're going to be looking at investing some of that. And the equity, we have the 540 committed, and then 393,000 associated with the debt payments that are upcoming in the month of August, and then the unassigned at $2.5 million. And on the ballot side, the operating statement, again, the sales tax is performing, you know, in excess of the budget, and the expenditures are right where they're planned. The one item that I'll point out is that the water rights payments, the payment to the city associated with those Fort Stockton water rights should be made in the next month or so. And then the rest of the package is a detail of the transactions for the month. And are there any further questions? If not, then that's it.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Have any other discussion, questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
First by Director Carrasco, second by Director Dendel. No other discussion? Well, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Thank you. So, moving on to closed session. Executive session under the provision of the Government Code Title V, Open Government, Ethics, Subtitle A, Open Government, Chapter 551, Open Meetings, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirement that meetings be open under the following sections. A, Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, 2, consult with an attorney when the government body seeks the advice of its attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter regarding economic development performance agreement with Carter Fentress Engineering, LLC, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, Phase 1 and 2, San Angelo Business and Industrial Park. We'll move on to closed session. It is 8:45. Okay. Well, we're back out of closed session. It is now 9:23. We'll move on to item 7, follow-up and administrative issues. A, consideration and possible actions of items discussed in closed session if needed. There were none. So we'll move on to B, announcements and consideration of future agenda items. Coastal DC board members and staff will be attending the rail tour on September 22nd meeting. After that meeting, and information about that.
Yes, we are scheduling that, and I'm working on that, but we will also include the industrial park and the airport as well. So that way we can give you all an update on those projects as well.
Will this
To
be another
give-
bus tour?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to give you an idea, for planning purposes, that tour would take an hour and a half to 2 hours to cover those three. For planning for that meeting.
If Bob drives, it's an hour and a half. I drive.
It'd be 4 hours. It would be-
A 3-hour tour?
We will not let Bob or Nolan drive.
Cool. Anything else? If not, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Lara and Carrasco. Aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Great meeting. 9:25, officially adjourned.